entered the realms of the gods. So give us your mind and your full attention.
So you say you deal with esoteric information? I never heard of such.
Well, you're in for a treat.
Blog talk, this is the blog talk. Alim El-Bey dropping jewels every day. Blog talk, this is the blog talk. Metaphysical, we deal with the spiritual. Blog talk, this is the blog talk. Alim El-Bey dropping jewels every day. Blog talk, this is the blog talk. Metaphysical, we deal with the spiritual. So you claim to be a god?
Damn right I'm a god. The maker, the owner, cream of the planet Earth, father of civilization, god of the universe. Wow, I didn't know that. Wow, I didn't know that. Wow, I didn't know that. Wow, I didn't know that.
So tune in or lose, friend. All strategies applied mathematically. The information he drop is real powerful. So get your notepad, it's more than an hour full. Watch your jaw, the crew is watch us all. Indigenous to the land wherever we stand. First world order, we bringing it home in the first quarter. Invisible lines don't apply, we cross borders. Silly rabbit, knowledge for gods. No matter where you reside, lodge, temple, or mosque. So don't fret or proceed with hesitation. Just tune in to Blog Talk to get the information. Peace. Whether you suffer from pain in your back to aches in your knees, come on down and purchase you some ancestral tea to get rid of all the parasites, toxins, and fleas. Spiritual elevation for cosmic gravitation. So put away the patience, cause there's no time to be wasted. Ancestral tea, that's all you need. Ancestral tea, so you better believe. Ancestral tea, and it works for real. Ancestral tea, so put away your bills. Ancestral tea, that's all you need. Ancestral tea, so you better believe. Ancestral tea, and it works for real. Ancestral tea, so put away your bills. This is a public commercial advertisement for AncestralTees.com. All rights are reserved. Peace.
I don't need to be a dope boy, my poetry is dope enough. Trapping interstellar while my third eye open up. See through all the lies that y'all tell it with a straight face. Return of the luminous ones. Y'all better make way to find a chapter. Find a collapse on all you politicians. They politicking how to lead a world, no pot to piss in. The way I think is more deep and in the Grand Canyon. I guarantee this black man would be the man standing. My premonition matched the Olmec calendar. It's always accurate like a lightweight challenger. For all you wicked riches and the Wizard of Oz, you and that man behind the curtain, yeah, y'all fixing to fall. Only a matter of time before shit hits the fan. Here's an idiot's guide for you on how to get a man. I don't need a bunch of homers to ride or die with me. I can call on HERU to fly the skies with me. Going through the transition and that's all she wrote. Put on my uncle, gave my Jesus peace back to the folk. Came back for ancient times to bring heaven on earth. I was the last golden child that returned to the birth. We going through the transition and that's all she wrote. Put on my uncle, gave my Jesus peace back to the folk. Came back for ancient times to bring heaven on earth. I was the last golden child that returned to his birth. When I'm riding on the city streets, never really miss a beat. To the point of no return, unless I turn another cheek. Catch me on my daily vibe, smooth as I wanna be. Just being me, never chillin' with the wannabes. God in the flesh, dated bad sister lectures. Because my history is more than they can understand it. My melanated skin, star brush from the astro. I'm made of dark energy created from black holes. No thyself, the only one you can lean on. I got some scoopers that y'all can break y'all weed on. Our hair is Martin Luther King and slave ships. But what about the underwater cities and spaceships? My mystical mind, we had the government covering. But if the Omatic will fly away like a mothership, where African people wear the real Anunnaki, wearing feathers on their heads, just a few feet taller than me. Through the transition, and that's all she wrote. Put on my uncle, gave my Jesus peace back to the folk. Came back for ancient times to bring heaven on earth. Yo, don't look at me the same, I ain't nothing like I used to be. Upgraded daily through the lies and all the foolery. My dream became lucid, I travel back in time, collecting life data for my subconscious mind. That Father let me know that anything is possible by pulling down the universe through my crown chakra. Manipulate the energy is all an illusion. Knowing who you are kills all the confusion. Why 85% judge off my appearance? I use alchemy to create the world potential. My lyrics turn divas right back in the queens. Why dope boys are think twice appearing back on the scene. Everybody gone mad, blaming media outlet. The new Black Hollywood chosen straight out of projects. Homo agenda war sucking up to the master. While the whole community going up in disaster. We going through the transition and that's all she wrote. Put on my auntie, gave my Jesus peace back to the Pope. Came back my ancient times to bring heaven on earth. I was the last golden child that returned to the birth. We going through the transition and that's all she wrote. Put on my auntie, gave my Jesus peace back to the Pope. Came back my ancient times to bring heaven on earth. I was the last golden child that returned to his birth.
Peace. Back once again with your host, Dr. Alim El-Bey. No doubt on the First World Order Radio. We are back in the building once again. Before we get started tonight, because it's going to be quite a night, let me bring on my co-host, Brother Fahim L. Brother Fahim R.L., are you in the building?
Hey, how I tell you, Washington East, Dr. Alim.
Yeah, I do. East, Brother L, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing.
All right.
Weekend. I almost died Friday, so
what happened?
I had a bad back injury, and my blood pressure went down to 60/13. So,
oh man.
Yeah, I was in pretty bad shape.
Right.
I'm still in pain, but I don't want to go back to the hospital or doctor though. But I think I might have to. So, but anyway though, I'm good enough for the blog talk show tonight.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that, Brother L.
Yeah, brother. I'm hanging. I was there for the law class Monday.
Right. I heard you in the law class. So yeah, man. Well, I'm gonna be sending you some energy. I'm gonna be sending you some prana, chi, ki energy tonight, Brother L. So, just relax. Just open yourself up to the healing energy of the cosmos. It's universal life force energy. So I'm definitely gonna be sending that towards your way. But in the meantime, let's get into tonight's topic.
All right.
Which is, will the real Jesus please stand up? This is part 2. To something that we did probably about 2 years ago. And reason why I brought this topic back up is because recently I read a comment on YouTube on one of my videos, and it was saying that I'm saying that Jesus don't exist. Okay, number one, let's get this right. I'm saying that the white man, the pale man, the European, in which that you have seen all your life in these pictures, no, he did not exist physically. Period. Sorry. All right. Now that is out the way. Let's get to the real topic at hand. All right. Now, even when you make the Albion your God, psychologically, you know what just happened. You now put yourself in a subservient position. You are saying that you're inferior to someone else. That is called psychological slavery. All right? It's also called cognitive dissonance. Because you steadily want to believe something or in something so much so that you will place nearly all your time in it. even though it shows no results whatsoever, especially you as a melanated person. Now, even though this image exists, many so-called Moabites, so-called melanated people sit up in church with this image, and you can have a so-called black congregation, a black missionary board, a black superintendent, a black secretary, a black deacon board, a black choir, and a black preacher. But yet white Jesus is on the wall. How ludicrous does this sound? How ludicrous does this look to a person who is conscious and who have read the Bible at least to Revelations, the first chapter, the 13th through the 15th verse, which states specifically that the Son of Man had hair like lamb's wool. I'm sorry, the only people on this planet that have hair like lamb's wool are melanated people.
Right.
And then it stated that he has feet of brass as if it was burnt in the furnace. Anybody know when brass get burnt in the furnace, it look bronzen or bronze, in which that it darkened like an old penny. Okay? Now, this is no coincidence that they compared the color of Jesus, which some say is the Son of Man, because he was called the Son of Man elsewhere in the New Testament, to that of brass. And then you have the Native Americans, or the American Indians, as they are called, or rather as we refer ourselves to be, is the indigenous aboriginal people of the Americas, or North Mexum in particular. When you look at the term American and look at its definition in Webster's Universal Dictionary, it states specifically that Americans are aboriginal copper-colored natives. Now, once again, the people are being described by a type of metal as far as their coloration. This is the same thing that took place in the Bible in the book of Revelation. Now, I can get into a debate about if Jesus was black or white, which oftentimes a good historian or one who studied their culture, called or referred to as, can win that debate hands down. No problem. But what is the symbolism? Because a man, even if he was a Moor or said black from 2,000 years ago, he was a melanated person, and he did all these miraculous things 2,000 years ago. What is that doing for you now? When you read the Bible, what information is given to you in which that give you the ability to do the exact same things or greater things than he did? Because in the New Testament, it states specifically that Jesus said that ye would do even greater things than I.
Mm-hmm.
So, while I'm seeing 70, 80, 90-year-old people still in church listening to the exact same thing that they heard over the last 70, 80, 90 years, and has not matured and have not manifested any of these gifts that they read about. Jesus spoke of being able to heal the blind, the deaf, the slain, resurrect the dead, etc., etc. Turn water into wine, walk on water. Now you have magicians who's doing the same thing. Dynamo from out of London, the UK. David Blaine from out of New York. Chris Angel. He's working in Nevada, Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
He's a magician. Yet they have duplicated many of these same things, miracles, whether it's through technology or whether it's through illusions or whether it's through whatever sleight of hand or whatever the case may be, mirrors, smoke and mirrors, whatever you want to call it. They have done so outside, in the light, not in a building at a magic show. All right? This is something that we have to understand, understand, is that you have these capabilities. Now, there's something different than just magicians. Let's go to real spirituality, supernatural as it's called, or paranormal activity. And when you go and read the stories concerning Fatima from the Catholic Church, it's called The Last Prophecies of Fatima. It speaks of melanated people, Africans. Remember, we live in Northwest Africa. It was called North Mexico, North Gate, North America. At one time, it was connected. It was the north portion of West Africa.
Right.
Hence, Northwest. When you look at the map and join the piece of the puzzle back together again before the Earth got larger, because 300,000 tons of stardust energy falls into planet Earth daily, which means that the Earth grows just like you grew during puberty. The Earth grows too. It's a living entity. So the Earth is not the size that it was 2 million years ago when all the land masses were together. But because it grew, the land mass broke apart, in which that called the continental drift. Some say it's because the tectonic plates. Some say because of volcanic activity. Whatever the case may be. It happened. At one time, we was able to walk through and to all the various continents, because they was at one time all joined. Now we have to sail. And when we speak of America, we're talking about North, Central, and South America, as well as also their adjoining islands. Americana, which is called the Caribbean. But then also the Pacific Islands. Okay, so you really have to look at what we've been told in school, because oftentimes it's inaccurate. And if you put North America, Central, South America, the adjoining islands together, it actually is nearly the size of what we refer to as Africa, allegedly, in some regards. All right? So, let's look at this thing. Because when you read the prophecies of Fatima, you will find out, according to this article by Tom Dark in Nexus Magazine, as well as also, you can look on the website, Google it, you will see that There are people who actually possess the same gifts, which cannot be explained, but yet they was not magicians. They did not call themselves magicians. They worked with God. Hence, the absolute force or source of all life, which is prana, or Ra, as it is called. Amin Ra, which means the hidden force, or the hidden light. Because you cannot see prana. However, it's there. It works. It's all told within the Sanskrit teachings of the yogi masters, within the Qigong, Tai Chi, or Taoist masters, Tibetan masters, the Buddhist masters, the Shaolin monks. They all speak about this type of energy, which has the ability and the capability of healing, of manifesting everything that we see, touch, taste, and smell into existence. Is able to be transmuted. It transmutes, in which that we see things or appear to see things on this third dimensional, some say second dimensional template. We just simply say holographic template. But you know that if I took a cell, a speck of blood, a drop of spittle, or a strand of hair, and now I was a top-notch geneticist, I can clone a whole other unit into existence. That's because every cell, which is all 76 trillion cells in your body, which forms and makes you up, is actually the blueprint or template for a whole other existence of you. All right? Now, let's look at this thing that Tom Dark talked about. Because he mentioned two people in particular. He mentioned Simeon Toko, and he mentioned who was born in the 1920s and died in 1984. And he mentioned Simon Kabongo. Now, Simon Kabongo was called a prophet, and hundreds and thousands of people witnessed his feats. They cast him into prison in order to stop him from doing what he was doing. But he was able to resurrect the dead, to heal the blind, to make the deaf talk and hear, to make the lame walk, and cure many illnesses. Dozens and dozens, hundreds of illnesses during this time of practice. Hundreds and thousands of people. So much so, till nobody even can debate it in the part of Africa in which it came from. These people seen it. Then you had Simeon Toko. Simeon Toko is even more fascinating. And dozens and hundreds of people seen his feats, and many did not doubt it. And he was able to bring his body back together after being chopped up into pieces, being under a giant mower. When this Dutch European Albion asked him to check it, and he got under it in order to check it. Or Belgian, Dutch, Belgian. Well, he's Belgian, if I'm not mistaken. But he got under it, and he checked And the Albion turned on the motor, in which that caused Simeon Toko's body to be chopped up into pieces. There was people who stood there and saw him get chopped up, and within a matter of moments, pulled his body parts back together and reanimated himself. Now that's just one tale of his feat. He battled the whole damn Belgian army, basically with thought projections. He had control over the angels. Remember, we spoke about there's 3 realms of angels. You have the atmospheric angels, you have the Etherian angels, and you also have the archangels. The archangels are the highest, as they dwell within what we refer to as the Van Allen belt. This is why the Albion can't get outside of planet Earth. So him talking about he went to the moon and all these things, and he talking about he's getting ready to go to Mars, and yeah, right. He can't even travel beyond the Van Allen belt. My wife was told this at NASA by a worker, showing that in 1969 and into the 70s that they never went in that regard. At least not by no shit. This is why they look for other technology. Wormholes, black holes, time travel. They're looking for alternative methods to do this. They know they're not going to achieve it any other way. But anyway, Simeon Toko projected into existence these angelical orbs into human form, as they are shapeshifters. And he formed at least 1,000 or so of these angels, a whole legion of these angels, into existence to battle the Belgian army. One of the people who saw him do so said that these were miniature angelic brown angels. It was like the Twa people. And they seen one lift up a 5-ton truck with one hand and turned it over. This is what we see in the story of Jesus being tempted by the devil to turn the rock into bread, to join him and become the ruler of his kingdom on earth.
Right. Mm-hmm.
As well as in that story, it tells you that Jesus told the devil or Satan if he wanted to. Well, he never got a chance to fulfill that threat. But Simeon Toko did. He called down over 1,000 small brown angels, which had the strength. One of them had strength to lift up over a 5-ton truck. And not just that. When these bullets shot at them, it didn't even make a difference. So they was able to run the Belgian army away. And he defeated them. And within a year's time, it was independent. The Congo became the Republic. Angola. All right? Before that, it was called Rhodesia, after Cecil Rhodes. And ran them Belgians up out of there. Another story states that he was kidnapped, and taken up into an airplane. And a Catholic priest was there in order to try to counteract what they refer to as demonic possession. They say he had same thing they did to Jesus. You had the Sanhedrins and you had the Sadducees to come and state that Jesus was possessed by the demon. And Jesus said, okay, well, how can the devil, if I'm filled with the devil, and then the devil comes, and he casts down another devil, then how will his kingdom, last? If demon is casting down demon, or devil casting down devil. And that's basically the same thing in which that Simeon Toko told that Catholic priest. As he stopped the airplane in midair, it didn't move an inch. It didn't go up, it didn't go down, it didn't go back, it didn't go forward. And everybody on there was scared. The pilot, co-pilot, the Catholic priest, the agent in which that was there, everybody was scared because he stopped the airplane in midair just by raising a hand.
Wow.
See, these are not magic tricks. This is complete control over absolute source, which is prana. And he was able to master this by his beliefs, by his rituals, and by his practice. No different than those who practice Qigong, Tai Chi, pranic healing, Reiki, or any other energy modality or ritual. Having set up an ancestral altar, a shrine, etc. An ancestral shrine, ancestral ritual consists of you talking to the ancestors. Your ancestors, 7 generations on your mother's side, 7 generations on your father's side. The good ones in particular, the ones who washed you up when you was a child, who changed your shitty ass diapers when you was a child, who gave you money as a child, who helped you, who helped heal you as a child. If they have passed on and they loved you, then you would get a picture of them. You get a glass of water, some incense, a white candle to repel negative spirits called familiars, in which that they can come and try to imitate your ancestors. But you will call upon only your ancestors. They actually lived in the physical body. How holographic this is, they still existed enough in your mind that you needed them at one time.
Right.
A man is not an island, he can stand alone, as they say. You have help in this world. And if they have gone on, you should show your appreciation and your acknowledgement of them. Some put fruit there. It's up to you. Burning sweet incense may be well enough, or whatever the case is. All right, Brother Bobby speaks of an angelic check. The Chinese have money in which that they use, in which that they burn to the ancestors so that they can have money on that realm for some type of finance. Same thing that the ancient Egyptians did when the pharaoh or pharaohs died or past form, transcended. They was buried with their gold. Gold has an ability to be an emission, an electric emission in the ether is done. Because every electron is seen, no matter how faint. In other words, you have a mirror-like image in the sky called the ionosphere. And no matter how faint an image is here on Earth, it shows up there in the ionosphere. And at the point of death, electrons and the vapor, your breath, is released, which is called your spirit. And that energy, the electrons, is called your soul. And that energy is released. And it goes up into the ionosphere. And it's in the ionosphere that you exist, which is called the astral plane or dream world, the bardo, purgatory, many names. Depends on your mental conditioning. First and second overtone of the astral plane can be your hell. Each one has 7 overtones. So you have astral plane 1, which has 7 overtones. Astral plane 2 has 7 overtones, like that. And there's 7 astral planes. Each one is named differently. This is the astral plane, what is called the earth. But they told you this even as a child. Roll, roll, roll your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 merrily. Life is but a dream. Life is but a dream. Damn, right. And you saying this child. And didn't even realize it, that you were saying what the quantum physicist is now just coming to the conclusion of. That this is a hologram. This is a matrix. Well, they showed you in the movie Matrix that this is a matrix. All right? Even the word matrix is mentioned in the Bible. Now, that's what all of this have to do with, is bridging the gap of consciousness. Because Christ really is consciousness. Christ was not Jesus' last name, y'all.
No.
It was Jesus the Christ. It was a title that he took on because he gained Christ consciousness.
Right.
Which is called Melchizedek. Hence the reason why Jesus was after the order of Melchizedek. Christ and Melchizedek are identical, the same. Jesus symbolizes actually the flesh. This is why they always show you the image of a man, the Son of Man. Just like you being a male child, you are a man, you are a son of man. SONSUN. And you came by way of your mother, the matrix, matter, as it was formed 9 months in the womb, or the 3 trimester periods. The first 3 months, second 3 months, third 3 months. 3 times 3 is 9. Going into the 10th month or the 40th week, you are born. So you have the matrix. It's the flesh. Jesus symbolized the flesh. That's why he's called the Word made flesh. Sound forms geometrical shapes. Sound is slowed down light. Light is slowed down thought. Thought travels 24 billion miles per second. Light travels 186,000 miles per second. And sound travels 1,120 feet per second. So each one is the same but slowed down frequency. It's slowed down. Sound forms geometrical shapes. 5-pointed star configurations, 6-pointed star configurations, etc., etc. Hence the reason why man is formed in the 6-pointed star configuration, the woman is formed in a 5-pointed star configuration. It forms shapes. The energy in which that is used to form these shapes is called prana, Prana, within the Sanskrit. Within the ancient Kemetic teachings, it's called Ra. Within the Japanese, it's called Ki. Chinese, Chi. Hawaiians, Kahuna Mana. Old Testament, manna fell from heaven. New Testament, Holy Spirit, Holy Ghost. That's what this is. So, Jesus made the name Son of Man to symbolize the flesh. And all of us are born of that flesh. 9 months in the womb, or what is called triple stage darkness. How we know this is because Jesus' name in the Hebrew, Old Hebrew, which is Aramaic, is Yahshua or Yahoshua. But the key word is shu, S-H-U. Now, when I do my research in ancient Kemetic or ancient Sumerian Egyptian philosophy, you find that shu is called the personification of air. Hence, the breath of life. So when you read in the Old Testament that God breathed into the nostrils of man the breath of life, his breath of life, and man became a living soul, and when Christians say that Jesus and God was together in the beginning, that's what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
God breathed his divine self into the nostrils of man to be the living embodiment, the breath of life. So man is God by way of mastering the breath. This is what is shown when you read the story about Jesus in the book of Acts, and it's talking about him going to the upper room, which symbolizes the head, because that's the upper room of the Holy of Holies, based on the Mosaic temple structure, which is based on the temple of Heru. It states specifically, or what is called the temple of Karnak, it is based specifically on the breath, as it is the mediator between the lower self and the higher self. So Jesus breathed on his disciples and they received the Holy Spirit. The breath. You can charge the breath with so much force, so much prana. That's one's inhale or inhalation or exhale, exhalation, which within science is called centrifugal and centripetal force, push and pull. That is what keeps your physical composition together. That's what composes you, keeps your all 76 trillion cells together. It's the breath. Without the breath, you decompose. What's the difference between a living person and a dead person? Well, one is breathing and one isn't. The one
Right.
who's breathing is composed. Centrifugal, centripetal force. Push and pull. Inhalation, exhalation. The one who is dead will soon be decomposed because there is no inhalation, exhalation. At birth, when the doctor spanks you on your ass, you take your first insulation. And at that moment, life begins for you in that physical apparent reality or in this hologram or matrix. And I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. I'm simply saying that this is changeable. Once you become the true magi, not just magician, even though the word magician is from the word magi, there's a difference, because one works with smoke and mirrors or tricks, and the other one actually develops the gift of the Holy Spirit and master prana, chi, ki energy, and do the exact same thing, but on a higher level. One is lesser mysteries, one is greater mysteries. You want to always be at the greater mysteries. This is part of the Masonic school for those who study masonry. You have the lesser mysteries of King Solomon. You have the greater mysteries of King Solomon. Lesser magic, greater magic. Lesser magic deals with those who like jam a frequency, like a radio wave or something. You can jam the frequency. And that's what you do with lesser. You can jam or stop something from happening for a time period or whatever the case is. But if that karma is not moved, then it can still happen.
Mm-hmm.
All right? However, at greater mysteries, or the greater mysteries of these sciences of King Solomon, etc. And Solomon, understand, is nothing more than the physical body. That is the temple of man, the body of God. Matter of fact, it tells you in Corinthians, 1 Corinthians 3:16, do you not know that your body is the temple of God? All right. So the temple of Solomon is the body of God, your physical body. This is how we know that Yahshua, Jesus, symbolizes physical body. And then the sound you make when you sneeze happens to be the same word that is told to us in Hebrew, which is Jesus' name, Yahshua. And his name happens to be Yahshua. And the sound that you make when you sneeze just happens to be Yahshua. And then if it get real good, you say, Yahshua. Yahshua. Now, none of us had sneezing classes, as I often say. You was not taught as a baby to make the same Yahshua sound as the next baby. That's something that happens because it's giving you a clue that the breath of life has a name. It's Yahshua. And Yahshua within Hebrew, Old Hebrew, Aramaic, means salvation. The salvation from your lower self and unifying the lower self into the higher self, mastering the lower mysteries or lesser mysteries and mastering the greater mysteries, higher mysteries, happens by way of the breath, as it is the mediator. So when in the book of John, it states Jesus said the way to the Father, which is talking about to the pineal gland, the soul embedded inside of the pineal gland, is but by me. I am the way, the truth, and the life. What life is this? The breath of life. This is a story about each and every one of us that we must master. This is not about a European, an Albion coming out the sky to save you, and you're still waiting 90 years old in the same position that you was in all your life. You've been going to church since you was a baby, and here you are 90 years old, and nothing has yet happened as far as The destruction of the planet. Babylon fall. Trump, Babylon fall down. The world is still here. Niggas thought Prince was right. 1999. The year 2000 coming. You better get yourself right. You better get saved. You better get with the Lord. 2000 came and the shit done went in 16 goddamn years later. We're still waiting for the Albion to come out the sky on 1,000 horses, and he on a white horse. He's coming in the cloud. Not realizing that area in the brain is called the hippocampus area. The word hippocampus, guess what it means? It means white horse. I hope I didn't speak that too loud. Hippocampus, which is the area in the brain, means white horse. This is Pegasus from the Greek mythology. This is the white horse that Jesus is on in the book of Revelation, of him coming out the clouds. Remember, you have white matter in your brain and you have a gray matter in your brain, which happens to be the color of clouds. When you see clouds, clouds happen to be white. And when you see other clouds during the time of storms, they happen to be gray. I don't think that's a coincidence. For those that can't follow what the hell I'm saying, these are some of the books that you need to read. And go beyond just internet. That's the problem now. You niggas need to go to the damn library and pick up a goddamn book. Or you damn internet searchers and researchers, sometimes that shit just don't cut it. That's additional information that can help out. But you need to read a book. I had to read hundreds and thousands of books to come to this clarity that I'm expounding to you on over 25 years or more. I was reading metaphysical books at the age of 9.
Wow.
So people was wondering how you can retain all this, because I was doing this shit at 9. Because I'm like, this is dealing with my soul. I'm up in church and I'm listening to this fool talking about he's going to save my soul and can't save his own.
Can't help himself.
Right. And then talking about, are you saved? From what, nigga? Are you with Jesus? Is Jesus with you? Nigga, the breath is always with me. That's how you're able to talk to me. I'm breathing every damn second or so, or, moment. So Jesus can stay with me. Hell yeah. Or heaven, yes. Without the Lord Jesus, there's no eternal life. Damn skippy. Because I want to be able to take my breath on afterwards and be conscious. So I just don't want to be conscious here on this earthly plane. I want to be conscious on the astral plane too.
Right.
After leaving the physical body. And that is the breath that does that, which hence is referred to as Jesus. Or the one in which that once composed your physical body composition. If you reach the Christ state, which is consciousness, your breath has reached that conscious level, then your breath continues on to that conscious venue or that conscious state, which you have the earthly plane, which is the physical, which is the material plane. You have the ethereal plane, which is right above this one. Your ethereal body is about 2 inches above your physical body. You have your astral plane, which is your emotional body, or which is above that, which is that a person who can see auras can oftentimes see the changes within a person's auric field at that level. Normally, the etheric body is electric blue. Then you have the mental plane, you have the causal plane, the spiritual plane, and the soul plane. These are the 7 heavens, symbolically to the 7 atmospheres. The stratosphere, the mesosphere, the magnetosphere, the ionosphere. These are atmospheres. So these atmospheres correlate to the consciousness in which that you have gathered, and what goes up must come down. So if the breath goes up, because water goes up, and the breath is composed of water vapor, and so at the point of death, you take your last breath, what you think is going up? That spirit is going up into the various atmospheres. And based on your conscious level, it depends on which atmosphere you go to. I know nobody'd ever explain this shit to you, but that's what I'm here for. Because I'm tired of the dumb shit. I'm tired of this not being explained to you in your churches, in your mosques, in your synagogue, in your temples. And you just keep going, not learning a goddamn thing about who you are.
So going inside the synagogue, churches, with the Torah and the Bible, don't know no more about it before they went in there, huh?
Exactly. They learned a good passage. That's what they learned. So, this is why this is called Will the Real Jesus Please Stand Up? Or, as I was going to originally call it, Will the Real Jesus Please Stand the fuck up? Because I'm really tired of our people not understanding that these stories are allegories, fables. Hell, even Jesus told you that he spoke in parables. Parables are stories that has a deeper meaning than what you're just simply reading on the surface. Get the book, Four Gospels Esoterically Interpreted by John P. Scott. Get the book, Apocrypha by James Price. Get the book, Masonry Unlocked, Storehouse Unlocked by Lotus. Get the book by Charles Fillmore, 12 Powers of Man. Get the book, The Metaphysical Bible Dictionary by Charles Fillmore. Get the book, 16 Crucified Saviors by Kurt C. Graves.
Mm-hmm.
Get the book, Christianity Before Christ by John G. Jackson. Because the Ethiopians, as we refer to them as, already had what we refer to as Christianity before the Christ mythos, or the formation by the Nicene Council in 325 AD by those so-called bishops, 319 bishops. Some say there was more. One was excommunicated, called Arian, so we went down to 318. Some say there was more. Of Serapis, Saw and Apis, the bull, or Saw the bull. Or Saw the bull is the constellation Taurus. It was coming out the constellation of Taurus during the time of Moses. This is what the golden calf was symbolic to. Then it was coming into the Lamb, which is during the age of Jesus, as he was called the Lamb of God, which is Aries. Then he became the fisherman of men, which means it was approaching the time of the age of Pisces. Then Jesus was asked by his disciples in Luke 10:22, or 22:10, excuse me, when are the last days? And Jesus said, follow the man with the pitcher of water in his hands into his house.
Right.
The image of the man with the pitcher of water is Aquarius. So we're dealing with astro-theology, but at the same time, is metaphysical. As part is beyond the physical, which means spiritual, and part of it is physical. So as above, so below. As within, so without. That's the supreme axiom. If the story that you're reading, as I always say, if the story that you're reading, if you can't explain it by way of as above, so below, as within, so without, then quit it. You're getting the wrong goddamn answer. I got niggas calling me now talking about Messiah. They didn't know you. Niggas calling me now talking about I'm the Christ. Oh, you are?
I didn't know that.
Right, let me see some crazy going on here. You can't tell me the process on how to reach Christ consciousness, but you Christ. Huh? So Ethiopians and melanated people worship Christ or had Christianity and understood the Christ principle or Christ principle before the perverted European Christianity, in which that came by way of the Nicene Council of 1700 years ago, or 325 AD, which would have been over 300 years, or nearly 300 years after the death of your Jesus, the Christ. You go to ancient Kemet, Tamari, or Tamaray, Egypt, you will see they speak about Karas, K-R-S-T, or K-A-R-A-S-T. And it means the mummified body of ASAR. You can get the books by Jeremiah, Ancient Egypt, The Light of the World, the Jeremiah Lectures, the Book of Beginnings by Jeremiah. They're all of Jeremiah's books, in particular, the one called Historical Jesus or Mystical Christ. In there, he tells you about another person who existed 100 years, before the Jesus information in the Bible. This man that existed allegedly was called Apollonius of TYANA, who is said to have done the exact same type of miracles. But this was 100 years before. Matter of fact, there's a book, right, by G.S. Mead, M-E-A-D, G.S. Mead. It was called 100 years before, 100 years before Christ, 100 years before Jesus, something like that. And he speaks about Apollonius of TYANA. Now, Jeremiah questions if he actually existed or not.
Some people would say that it is useless to argue the fact of whether Jesus was so-called black or so-called white because he didn't exist.
Exactly.
What's your take on that?
If they say he didn't exist, then what does the story mean? And guess what? When you ask them that, they can't explain that. So to tell me that Jesus didn't exist, whether he was black or white, and they don't give me the interpretation from an esoteric principle, then you're doing the same injustice as the Albion did by giving me the Europeanized picture of Jesus. I could have just went with that shit. Don't do me the disservice of telling me that Jesus didn't exist and then don't explain it. And I've seen Pastor Ray Henry do that.
Oh,
and
really?
not explain. Yeah, he told people that Jesus did not exist, and he told them about the Nicene Council 325 AD, but he never told them about the Egyptian connection, which was Shu, and how Shu was the personification of air in which that was linked to the Hebrew word Yeshua, or the Greek word Isa, or Ishu. He never told them that. In which that symbolized that principle was talking about the energy or force that formed the physical body or holds the physical body together. Hence the reason why he was called the Son of Man. So he don't tell them the esoteric principle behind what those symbols mean. What's the point of me taking your ass to Egypt and not explain to you the Egyptian concepts or Kemetic concepts, Sumerian concepts? Explain that. But yet, the concepts are right there in the Bible. You go to Genesis, the 32nd chapter, 30th verse, somewhere around there, and it tells you that Jacob wrestled with the angel, and the angel hit him in his thigh, and his name was changed from Jacob, which means supplanter in Hebrew, to Israel, which means to ascend to God. So he was hit in his thigh, hence his private part, in his lower nature, in which that caused him to ascend. In other words, take that lower nature energy that you got, Kundalini, and raise that shit up. And he raised that energy up to become Israel, which happened to be an archangel. Israel or Asrael happens to be an archangel of God. If you read the Jewish lore about angels, in particular, you get the book called The Angel's Definition, Dictionary, the Angel Dictionary, by, I think his name is Godwin.
Okay.
But if you get that, it breaks it down. That Asrael is Israel, which was an archangel. So he became an archangel. Talking about consciousness. Now, it's no coincidence that you have 7 major archangels.
Right.
You have Uriel, which symbolizes the base or root chakra. You have Samiel, that symbolizes the navel chakra. You have Gimiel, which symbolizes the solar plexus. You have Raphael, which symbolizes the heart. You have Azrael, or Israel, that symbolizes the throat chakra. You have Gabriel, which symbolizes the third eye. And you have Michael, which symbolizes the crown chakra. Now, it's no coincidence that Israel symbolizes to ascend upward. That is part of the last 3 bodies, or the 3 chakras, which symbolize the Aku, the glorified light body, in which that is one of the 3 bodies that, when you physically die, still exists after the death of the physical body. Right. The Aku, the Ka, and the Ba, which is the glorified light body, the spirit, and the soul. It's like an egg. The glorified light body would be symbolic to the shell of the egg. The whitish part of the egg would be symbolic to the Ka, the spirit, and the yolk would be symbolic to the soul. And those 3 survive death. Yes, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, the same thing when someone said that they didn't believe in the Christ Gospels. I said, hold on. I said, wait a minute, hold on now. Now you're not speaking. You speaking it as dealing with the church and the Gospels, but let's take it out of the church, put it into civilization in this esoteric sense. Now, what they are talking about is the elevation of another level of spiritual consciousness. They're not dealing with Christianity, Islam, Judaism, any of that.
Right.
That's what Christ consciousness means.
Exactly.
Some of these so-called conscious sisters and brothers, they so quick to put their foot down on the word Christ. What I was dealing with, like you just said, the esoteric of Jesus, of the Christ. So quick to put it down. We're not dealing with it in its esoteric sense, like what Ray Higgins did. You say, what's the use of going to Egypt, and you're not even breaking down the esoteric science of what you're talking about.
Exactly. I could have stayed home and read the damn books that I'm giving you.
Yeah, really.
And got more from out of that than me going over there just to look at the images and say, oh, that's us. Wow. And this is no slight or slander on anyone. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm just simply saying, understand that it goes deeper than what you are being told. This is no slight or slander to Brother Pastor Ray Higgins. I'm sorry. Don't take it in that way. Do not get offended. That is not what this is about. This is simply saying that even when I first heard him say it, I knew that he had to explain it deeper and that it wasn't getting explained nowhere else that I was looking at. So I had to be that vessel to bring this information out to the people so they can get a better understanding of what was really going on. That's all. Because, like we said, the Ethiopians or Cushites, Abyssinians, all right, or old man Cush, melanated people, they was worshiping Christ or Christ before the Europeans perverted Christianity. I'm going to say that again.
Right.
I had to say that again. All right, so so-called black Christians are not serving the religion of their oppressor. Their oppressor gave them their religion, but perverted the teachings of the religion and then had the so-called sellout pastors, bishops, reverends, who's on the take, because they normally form up under 501c3.
Right.
You know, that these so-called black churches do not follow the doctrine or teachings of the Roman Catholic Church or the religion of Christianity. All right? They are not supposed to be doing so, because this is about Christ, which is consciousness. The mummified body of Osiris is talking about the soul being embedded inside of the pineal gland. That's the swaddling clothing. That's the white linen in which that is symbolically wrapped. The soul is wrapped in. So this is talking about the resurrection of the soul being able to journey outside of the physical body to commune with the ancestors that have passed on and the angelical beings that have passed on. And you do that by way of meditation, by producing more DMT, working with the energy. More pinoline is being produced. More serotonin, more melatonin, causing the pineal gland to operate at a higher function than normal. What they found out is that sometimes the only time in which that energy of DMT or pinoline is produced is at birth. Very little during the lifetime, and then upon death, there's a large release. So there's a large release in the birth coming into the world, and there's a large release leaving the world. Why you need all these large releases coming into the world and leaving the world is because they're propelling you from one realm into the next. But even while you are here in the physical, you can have the release of the DMT and pinoline, or what's called the spirit molecule. You can do that by way of meditation. You can do that by way of practicing Kundalini yoga, Tantra, or Kriya yoga. You can do that by way of Reiki, pranic healing, Qigong, Tai Chi, all these energy modalities. You can do this by acupressure, acupuncture, reflexology, by herbology, by mastering these particular sciences and keeping yourself healthy. Keeping yourself cleansed out and making yourself a vessel for this light energy, in particular gold light, violet light, white light, or green light. Of course, you can use any color light from the rainbow, as it's called Roy G. Biv, which deals with visible spectrum. But the best light for healing are the four that I just made mention of: gold light, violet light, white light, green light. 1, 2, 3. All right. So understand what we're talking about here. All right. So then you have the image that they gave us called Caesar Borgia or Borgia, which is about 500 years ago. He was the son of Pope Alexander VI, who had a contest by Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo, and Leonardo da Vinci beat out Michelangelo for the best painting of his son, who was Caesar Borgia. And Caesar Borgia was a homosexual and allegedly had homosexual affairs with Leonardo da Vinci. I wasn't in. But what they have said within historical circumstances was, this is what it said. Now, that painting of Caesar Borgia has now become the painting in which we see of Jesus in the many churches around the country and throughout the world, of this Europeanized image. That's, once again, is no coincidence. That is done purposely to keep you under the yoke of your so-called oppressor. It is said that 90% of the world runs on bluff. We have to begin to start understanding that. And this is why when you start studying the law, history, and culture, which ties you back to your nationality, you find how retarded many of these philosophies really are in your life, and how things really hold you back. Because nobody should be 70, 80, 90 years old still in church asking the same damn question. They shouldn't. Right? I mean, that just doesn't make any sense.
No, it don't.
You know, by this time they should have went through many schools of thought, read hundreds and thousands of books over 70, 80, 90 years. They should have a damn library. They should have been, they should have taught thousands and thousands of people by now about this real science. Not still sitting up in no goddamn church with this nigga who's talking about he's going to save your soul and can't even save his. And can't tell you the procedure to save a soul. Matter of fact, can't even tell you the goddamn definition of what a soul is. Niggas still debating on if the soul different than the spirit. Is the spirit different than the soul? Niggas still don't know. They still debating that shit. Hopefully y'all getting this. I'm not going to stay on here too much longer. Brother L, you got anything that you want to add to this?
Yes, you're right. They spend their whole lifetime and go to their graves with that, not learning anything since when they were 5 years old. And it's sad. Most of our people are like that. And when you tend to tell them the way you're talking tonight, they usually distance themselves away from you. You don't have too many friends. You have.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad. I am so happy to live with you. Now I can really be the Naga I really can be and should be. Because all the Negroes are gone.
Right.
And
you're
right.
That's what it's saying. You must be saying something right.
Right.
You must be telling the truth. Most people can't handle the truth.
Right. And see, it's simple once you have done enough research and studied. let me explain. When these Europeans talk about all this channeled information, oftentimes it's bullshit. All their channeled information. Talking about they fuck up the Pleiadians and no, none of that. Right? Don't believe a lot of this channeled information. When the ancestors come to you, or when the angels come to you via your mind, and that information is channeled down into your brain, you tap into the Akashic records. Information which that you already possessed from eons ago in different lifetimes. And the only thing you did was open up that doorway in order to get to that passage in which that you found that answer from long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You have your own personal Akashic record, which is your universal library, which is an oversoul which stores up all your life incarnations. It's like a cloud. This is where they get the concept of cloud from your computer. Oh, you can put all your music and all your shit into the cloud. Oh, we give you a gigabit, a terabyte of that shit, or whatever it is. Well, you have a cloud. Your cloud is called your oversoul, and it has all your previous incarnations there. In fact, your current soul is attached to the oversoul, which happens to be attached to the physical body.
Mm-hmm.
So oftentimes, if you have a question, you can actually journey out of body, which you do every night, and go into the oversoul and commune with your previous lives or incarnation, and get advice and get answers. So you come back that morning, all of a sudden you wake up, all of a sudden you got the answer. You don't know how, all of a sudden you got that answer. But that happens to you all the time as a melanated being, as opposed to read 1 Corinthians. You have these abilities, these gifts. Gift of miracle, gift of prophecy, gift of healing, gift of speaking in tongues, interpreting tongues, gift of faith, gift of knowledge. You have all of these gifts coming from the Holy Spirit, which is nothing more than prana, the universal life force energy, the mother principle. Okay? If y'all have any questions, give me a call at 626-414-3535. That's 626-414-3535. Give me a call before we get on up off of here. If you got any questions or comments, give us a call. Once again, that's 626-414-3535. I'm going to go to a song, Trap or Freedom. This is my man, all right, Black Waters.
Yeah. HED, above the dome, trap of freedom, it's family, tradition, heritage, the missing links, spiritual miracles, the awakenings, the walking sphinx, it's time to eat, food for thought, it's the meta magician, holy rainwater, flows off my altar, channel through the seasons, elevate the reasons, what's the purpose of life to the living, death to the conscious, at the end of days, clash of the titans, zombies running rampant, Christ in the pamper, looking for a lamp, revving at the church, plugging in the amp, rock of the ages, son of the undead, vamping, immortal rage, I bleed red ink on the page, words and truth, no signature, to the blur, from invisible literature, sitting at the dock of the bay with Otis, having rituals, turn the lights off, it can get real quick, sir, melting pot mix, I'm in search for a fix, walking backwards, looking forwards, patiently waiting, don't ignore it, holding two swords like peace signs aimed at your board.
Want to be caught in the trap of freedom? Do you want to be locked in the trap of freedom? Do you want to be caught in the trap of freedom? Do you want to be locked in the trap of freedom?
Darkness to light, walk into flight, hawk eyesight, interdimensional terabytes, fuel for the journey. Some late a fuel for the gurney. Colored in the book of law, no need for attorneys. I turn the page, feel the script like a doctor coming out the cage. I'm the lion, fed grain, sticks and stones, no pain. A workers only workers gain, attempting to keep my inner sane with lifestyle changes, highs and mountain plains. 7 thoughts, 7 vaults, no faults, who's to blame? It ain't the same, they take the names, I feel the sun. It ain't no fun if the homie can't have none. I see you run like Hussein, like none. It seems frightening, exciting, I go with streaming lightning. I'm the Nick and Logan at night.
You want to be caught in the trap of freedom. You want to be lost in the trap of freedom. You want to be caught in the trap of freedom. You want to be lost in the trap of freedom.
Yeah, time, space is obsolete. Locate the unlocal, way above yet so below. The permanency of non-movement, ATV, above the dome, trap of freedom. Blackwater, the metal magician. Mad scientist on the track. Peace.
All right. That's my man, Black Waters, Brother Elohi, doing his thing. Tell us what y'all thought about that. Hit us up. Once again, 626-414-3535. That's 626-414-3535. All right. If y'all got any questions, give us a call. All right, we got one on the line now. We got area code 678. Area code 678. You on the air?
Hello?
Peace.
Yes,
Hello?
greetings.
Peace, brother. Peace, brothers. How you doing?
Fine.
Hi. This is Sister Mawu. I want to ask you a question because I was going back and forth with this. With the New Age spirituality, with spiritual, what they calling it? How
Right, New Age.
New Age. What are the Europeans or the Abians or the Wazoos are trying to contain? Are they trying to contain a soul, or
Yes.
because I see, because you said they channeling. They say they channeling, but that's bullcrap.
Right.
But I also see different types of brothers. It's like one brother called Seven, and I see him talking to the Abivan all the time. And I would hear him say, our ancestors. But listen to Brother Hemet, Baba Hemet, and you, and also Brother Panic, with our thought forms, because we've been here longer, and our thought forms, and this is the ether, within the ether is our thought forms. So how would they be connecting or trying to connect with, because they're using our ancestors, our spiritual practices.
Right. I got you.
Okay. Okay.
Let me explain it like this. What they're trying to do is tap into your ancestral bloodline. However, they can't tap into your angels or your angelical angels, which is your ancestors, especially not the ones 7 generations on your mother's side or 7 generations on your father's side. You have to tap into their bloodline or ancestral line. Now, it depends on who is in their bloodline, because sometimes based on mixing, all right?
Yeah.
They may have one or two of us in their bloodline. But once again, sometimes you got to understand is it in the body or out of body that they have the most power. We find out that the broader scope of what's really going on is that one who is out of body can see more of what is taking place than one who is in the body. In other words, what we see is limited compared to what they have the capability of perceiving and seeing. Because they have, now we can gain these same abilities, which is called clairvoyance or clairaudience. which means that your hearing can be in many places or even around the world and pick up conversations if you're able to tune in, or see into the future, which means the gift of prophecy or being able to foresee certain events, foretell certain events in which that can take place. So we have these capabilities, but the ancestors, being that they're out of body, can do this much better than we can, because the body sometimes is a veil in which that stops us from being able to really be who we are in this flesh. All right? Now, the Alpine has a problem with channeling because he has a calcified pineal gland. If you read the book African Origin of Biological Psychiatry by Dr. Richard King, he states that 5 to 15% blacks or Africans have calcified pineal glands, 15 to 35, 20 to 35% Asians, and 60 to 80% Europeans. All right, have calcified pineal glands. And some say even higher to 85%. Now, that's the problem. That means very few of them can tap into any real information. They simply use what you have in order to continue on. Now, being that there is still 40 to 20% of them that do not have calcified pineal gland, then that means that they are the ones who can tan in the sun without burning up. They're also the ones who are able to really tap into some type of spirituality. They're not the ones in which that are delusional, because oftentimes I know that those who are channeling sound delusional, when, especially the Europeans. So that's the problem. So if they are able to do that, then they do have some type of ancestry in which that they can tap into, but it's not as powerful as yours, because it don't go back as far as yours do. Right. Because that they have only been on the planet for 6,000 to 10,000 years. You've been on the planet for at least 3 billion years, ancestry-wise. All right? Now, blood-wise, they already been tested. They already tested that. There's a brother in South Carolina whose blood type went back almost 350,000 years.
Oh, okay. So, so brother.
Now that's farther back than
anyone else.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Let me ask you one question. Also, I've been hearing brothers saying that one brother asked me, and I don't know why he said this. It's the old blood is the original blood of us, of our people, right? But he was saying that how can I put it easily? He was saying that it's the original blood, but we don't really know if it is the original blood. I could be paraphrasing it wrong that he was saying, but he was arguing with the young brother that he was saying that we are different, but he kept saying that we are not different because they can have our because the Avion can have black Moorish babies, and I was like, in the field of medicine, don't they give European women extra type of shots to be able to hold a melanated child?
Yes. Especially if it's, right now that's the problem between that is the blood types. It's particularly between O positive and O negative blood type. Okay. A O positive person, whether male or female, if it's a female and let's say she's O negative and the male that she's with is O positive, then yes, she would have to receive a shot in order to be able to hold that baby from an O positive male. Okay, from an O positive male. But is it any with is it anything? Okay, is it because of our blood? Because I know it's 4 types. I'm sorry. Let me explain
the
blood type. O blood
Okay.
means original blood. It's the oldest blood, which dates back over 300,000 years ago.
Okay.
Now, O negative is the original blood out of is older than O positive. Right? O positive is soon after O negative. All right? Now, from my research, O positive blood, being that is the most dominant blood type on the planet. It's up to about 62 to 65% of the people on the planet have O positive blood. That is the blood type in which that deals with Earth origin, as compared to O negative blood type, which deals with Anunnakian or heavenly origin.
Okay.
And that's what the Bible tells you, that the sons of men seen the sons of God seen the daughters of men and came down to earth and took all that they chose. That was the intermingling of the O blood types together, the O negative and the O positive. All right.
Okay. Yes.
And those two blood types, when they mixed, developed giants in the land who was of old and renowned. They lived a long time, and they was tall. They was giants, and they was renowned. They was mental giants. All right, they had a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom, and you can find historical Smithsonian been hiding some of this shit, but they show you that at one time we was as tall as 36 feet.
Yes.
And we shrunk to 28 to 25.
I researched that a little bit. Mm-hmm.
Right, to 12 feet. So eventually 7 feet, in which that we still have people who are 7 feet tall to this day. Eventually, to 6 feet, to 5 feet, to 4 feet. And in particular, the 12 people are 4 feet tall. So between the 4 feet tall people and the 7 feet tall people, they mix. And so now we get the average height of about 5.5 to 6 feet tall.
Yeah, okay. So would you say the tall basketball players are from that bloodline, and certain ones of certain heights are from certain bloodline, or because it's a mixture? There's a mixture,
right? There's a mixture, but there are those in which that are part of that bloodline, O negative bloodline. But there are other blood types in which that has now, because especially when you hear about those who have pituitary gland problems and that they just couldn't stop growing because of the pituitary gland, that's not because of a blood type per se. That's because of a condition within the pituitary gland.
Okay. Thank you so much. I know you're ready to get off. Thank you for answering my questions, Brother L. You have a good one, Brother Doctor. You have a good one too. Peace, brother.
Thank you, Goddess. Appreciate you, Goddess.
Area code 704. Greetings.
Peace, Brother Link.
Peace
to the gods. Peace to the gods. Yeah, I just got on the line not that long ago. I have a question in reference to Jesus, right? I know that was the subject matter that y'all was building on earlier. Mr. Shaw, I have to go back in the archives. By the way, my name is Qasim Rael. What I want to know is was Jesus an actual person? Did Jesus actually exist according to your understanding as an ascended master, or is it like allegorical, whereas that the Son represents Jesus?
Right. It's as above, so below. So yes, there is one sun or star in the sky. So yes, there is one soul principle within you. The soul within you symbolizes the soul law in the sky, which is called solar energy, which is the sun.
Right.
So by you activating the soul or solar force or energy within you, you become the sun above. So hence you'll call the S-O-N, while the sun outside of you is called the S-U-N. So you are the son of the sun, or the son of God, or the son of man. Man meaning not just but mind, the mind. So yes, there has been many Jesus Christ on the planet, or Christ Jesus on the planet. But we have to reach that position, because it's a position, state of consciousness.
Right. So you are saying.
You missed it. Hold on. You missed it earlier, and I made mention of the fact of, in particular, of of two Africans who were known historically within the last 100 years who possessed the same Christ consciousness and powers. And one was called Simeon Toko, and another one was called Simon Kabongo. You can look them up. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, there's been Christ or many Jesus images to walk upon this planet Earth. You can be one if you are able to gain that type of consciousness. But it's a work in progress. It's something in which that you have to be dedicated to.
Right.
Remember, it took the ancient Egyptians 40 years of schooling just to get out. They was in school for 40 years mastering this stuff. Jesus didn't start his mission until he was 33. And some say that he and he didn't go be about his father's business until he was 12.
Right. Some say he traveled to India and Tibet.
Right. That he traveled to Egypt. Right. They said that he traveled to Egypt, India, and Tibet. This is where the secret societies are located at.
Right.
Secret societies were located. So,
I just wanted to clarify that because.
Right. They were just simply saying that to get this high knowledge of information, you must do your research and study in these particular places, or either read those who have written on this information, because they have the breath techniques, the meditations, all these things in which that can help elevate your consciousness from out of the lower self to the higher self.
Right. Where could I get some information, maybe from you, whatever, to show and prove that Jesus actually did exist? Because what has happened in the conscious community now is that what I'm finding is since that Zedekiah came out, remember that Zedekiah thing that they put out?
Right.
It was, right. That like kind of eliminated the physical Jesus aspect. You know what I'm saying? And they tried to say that Jesus was son only, and that knocked out of the box the physical master Jesus, who traveled all over, who was a master in himself. So I just need some information, really that some books, something like that, to show and prove that Jesus actually did exist and walked as a master on the earth. Right.
Well, there's several books. One is called The Historical Jesus, The Mythical Christ by Gerald Massey.
Hold on, write it down. By Gerald Massey? Okay.
Right. Gerald Massey wrote the book Historical Jesus, Mythical Christ. Another book is by G.S. Mead, M-E-A-D, Mead. It's called 100 Years Before Jesus.
100 years.
And both of those, before Jesus. Both of those books speaks about Apollonia of TYANA, or Apollonius of TYANA. T-Y-A-N-A, TYANA. Apollonia of TYANA.
Okay.
And he was a Christ figure prior to. Now, when we say in Jesus, we're just talking about the composition of the physical body. The breath holds the physical body together. So I'm not worrying about the Jesus figure in that sense, except of the personification that it manifests as. The breath of life, which is symbolic to the flesh itself. That's what we refer to as the Jesus. I'm more concerned about the Christ, which manifests in the flesh, and that there's been many Christ figures or many people who have come with this Christ consciousness over hundreds of thousands of years, eons.
Right.
So yes.
Now, let me ask you this. Some say also that Buddha was an ascended master. How is that in relation to Christ, Buddha?
Well,
or
Buddha,
is there a relation?
Buddha, yes, there is. Buddha symbolizes Ptah, which is the ancient Kemetic father of the gods. From the word Ptah is where we get the origin of the Hindu/Oriental Asian word Buddha. But the word Buddha is from the word Ptah, which is the ancient Egyptian, which Ptah was the father of gods. He's the one in which that is said to have been the image of Ra. All right?
Okay.
So it's talking about the enlightenment of the awakening of the soul. In fact, the word Buddha means the awakener.
Okay.
The word
All right.
Ptah an opener. So what is it that must be open? The last seal must be open, which is symbolic to the pineal gland, which holds the soul. It houses the soul. So that last seal must be open so the soul can make its journey out of body to let you know that you are more than just a physical body, to let you know that there is life that exists after this physical body. There is life after life. That there is states of what we refer to as heavens that exist. There are ways to communicate with the ancestors that have passed on. You can go and meet and greet with them.
Right,
and still taking their wisdom and wish that they can share with you. You know, you can go meet with the angels. So all of this is still real. Understand that. So, you know, that's what we have to come to the understanding of.
Indeed, God. One last question. I'm gonna let you off the hook. Have you ever heard of the I am discourses before?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What do you think about it?
It can be utilized. It's some good information. In particular, when you use the word I am, you know, that is the same as the Sanskrit word Om. That's the same as the Aum, U-M, O-M. That is the same as when we say Amen at the end of our prayers, whether you Christian, Muslim, or Jew, Hebrew, Israelite. We all say Amen, you know, at the end. And when you hear Christians say it, they really do well at it because at the end of prayers they say Amen.
Right, true.
Why do they stretch it out like that? Because they know the Om sound is the universal sound of the universe. That is what we refer to within physics and chemistry and biology as the Big Bang. That's the sound in which that was produced after that effect.
Right.
The Om sound. This is why you have many insects that make that type of sound. The bee, the bumblebee, the hummingbird, the mosquito, the fly, the gnat, all of them make the same type of humming noise.
Right. I do have one comment I'll make. I overheard you speak about the blood with the sister that was on before me, and I just want to say that the RH negative blood, which you are familiar with, right? That I don't know exactly where that blood came from, but when usually that's white people have RH negative, just about. And there's, from what my knowledge gives me, there was a genetic barrier set up between white and black people at one time. You know, a long time ago. You couldn't get, a white woman pregnant. But what has happened is because of the RH negative, when a black man gets a RH negative woman pregnant, it builds up a defense system against it, and it will destroy the embryo if the Rogam shot is not given. That shows and proves to a certain extent that we are really not supposed to be mating with them like that. You know what I'm saying? Because of that bloodline, that blood actually attacks the baby. You know what I'm saying? And will kill the baby if that Rogam shot is not given. So that I just want to drop that little bit of info because I think that's kind of like, you know, what y'all was talking about. I mean, you mentioned the O positive and the O negative. You know, that's the first, you know, that, you know, I've heard of it reference to that. My knowledge went into the RH negative. You know, if you have O and RH, that don't mix. You know what I'm saying? There's something about that, you know, ain't right. I guess some people say that's the Anunnaki blood, and RH negative is some other star system or somewhere else blood. You know, who knows where that's from. Okay. All right, bro. Oh, one last thing. That jab you had on, what was the name of that? The one that you
was called Trap or Freedom.
Freedom?
Yeah, Trap or Freedom.
Trap.
Yeah, Trap, R-A-P, or Freedom. Yeah.
Trap or Freedom. All right, got that. All right, man. Enjoy listening to your show, God, and keep on doing the work. All right.
All right.
Peace.
Thank you.
Good enough. Peace. Peace.
We got area code 719. Area code 719. You on the air?
Yes, sir. Peace, brother Alim and the family. Indeed. Man, I appreciate the work you're doing. I mean, I got privy to your information probably like back in 10 when you were building with Miss Blue about the coming into the 2012. Yeah, and I've been on Qigong ever since, man. Trying to steady up on Qigong and practicing every morning, for the past 3 years. So, yeah, thank you for your works. I just had a question. I just came into the show probably about 15 minutes ago. I was just wondering what's the science behind the mantra Amen Ra Patah. And I heard it from, I think, Sabi Ma or Dr. Moetta Ashby. He was hitting those mantras. I was just wondering what's the science behind it.
What's the word that he broke down?
Amen Ra Patah. I think you were just building on the
Right. Well, Amen Ra, of course, Amen means hidden. Ra means photonic energy or light. Right, hidden. 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 Right, hidden.
Yes.
Amen means hidden. All right. Ra means photonic energy or light. So Amen Ra means hidden light. And then Patah means opener. So the opener of the hidden light is what that means. The opener of the hidden light. So you are open to the hidden light. The hidden light is prana, Prana. And Pra, Ra, once again, is within the word embedded inside the Sanskrit word prana. So that symbolizes that what prana really is photonic energy, light, which, remember, I spoke about 300,000 tons of stardust energy flows to the planet Earth daily. So you as a melanated person are supposed to take in your share of that 300,000 tons of stardust energy, because scientists have found that more than 90% of your physical body is composed of stardust.
Right.
So how are you supposed to grow? You grow by way of gaining more insight and knowledge, wisdom, of the absorption of that energy.
You say eating more, Brother Ali?
I was saying that by eating light. Exactly. Your melanocytes, which is your skin cells, right? Your melanin. Actually, your skin has what is called melanocytes, and your melanocytes act as black holes. In other words, it absorbs light. Just like when you see a black hole and they show you the simulation of a black hole and light going into the black hole, well, you have that same capability. Each melanocyte on your skin absorbs light. So, yes, you're able to build yourself spiritually by the absorption or by way of eating light.
Yes. Yes, indeed. I see that, man. I appreciate that. Indeed.
Right. As a matter of fact, there's a doctor, I can't remember his name right now, but he actually said that we evolved. The more light we eat, the more light that we eat, the more we evolve. So a person, if you're trying to evolve to a higher level spiritually or physically, you must absorb more light, because light is what changes matter.
Right.
Make matter lighter. It's called particulate matter, and that particulate matter is transformed by way of more light. So this particular matter, this matter called flesh, is actually changed by way of gathering more light. Hence the change of DNA. So, yep, exactly.
Yes, indeed. And by way of, so to gain that light, what? Just stay on qigong, stay on the breath, stay on teas, herbs.
Well, right. When you breathe in aspects of oxygen, but also embedded inside the oxygen is prana, which is the universal life force. So, or absolute source. So when you breathe, you're breathing in the absolute source. You're breathing in God, all right, or the goddess, as it is also referred to as. So your thoughts or your intention is that you must be healed, you must be healthy, you must have a long life. Well, you do that by way of your thoughts via your oxygen content with the prana embedded inside of it, in which that give you that which that you thought of. Prana is not consciousness itself, but it works off of consciousness. It works off of your consciousness. So whatever you think as you are breathing is what it goes into helping to manifest.
Okay. Indeed, I see that.
All right.
Yes, indeed. What's that book you got on the breath?
Yeah,
the book
the book that I did two books, but one is called The Divine Hymns of Akhenaten. I speak about the breath in that book too, as well as also so that would be a good book to get, and that's $25.
Okay.
And you can go to my website and look it up.
Okay. Is the website on the
Yeah, it's Dr. Alim El-Bey. Nah, it's dralimel-bey.com. You got a new one.
dralimel-bey.com.
DRALIMELBEY. dralimel-bey.com. And just go there and put in the search on the website Divine Hymns of Akhenaten.
All right. I got it, Lord.
All right. You're welcome. Well, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Peace. All right, we got area code 205. Area code 205. You on the line?
Area code D205. This ASAR Untitled Bay. How are you, Dr. Lee?
Brother
The
Mel
only
Chad.
thing I want to say is peace, love, and light to you and your beloved one. Keep doing what you're doing. I've learned a hell of a lot from you, and I'm keep learning. You're my spiritual parent. You're my teacher. You're my friend. You all of the above, and I'm with you, and you keep doing it, and I'm keep learning. And I just want to thank you for it, and I want everybody to know what you have been an inspiration to me and my family into my life, to bringing me into consciousness of being God himself. And I just want to give you thanks and love for that.
Thank you, Brother Sahu. Melchizedek El-Bey, I appreciate you for coming on and giving me that shout out and the family that shout out, because we need positive encouragement, because it get tough out here, working with these Negroes, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, so keep doing what you're doing, brother. Ain't none of them going to stop you.
Right.
We straight spiritual warriors. So however they want to do it, we can do it with.
All right. I appreciate that, brother.
So peace, God.
All right, peace, God. All right, we got area code 843. Area code 843.
Hey, greetings, brother. How you doing?
Greetings, brother.
Yeah, it was a joy to sit at that meeting in Colombia with you and your Empress and your speed when you came down. I really enjoyed myself. Definitely brought the light in the evening. It was a beautiful thing. Brother, I wanted to ask you, this Bill Gates supposed to be striving to make that mosquito on the low.
Right.
Yeah, family is kind of tripping in the background. That mosquito with that new virus that they've been talking about that challenges women.
Right.
That's having babies. I'm almost sure this mosquito is going to be some kind of digital drone or something, because he is an electronic genius of sorts anyway. his organization anyway. So is there anything that, that's possible that we can do to repel this thing, especially considering it's going to be, a machine, a mechanic, mechanical?
Right. Well, we can start wearing certain magnets on our bodies, as well as, but they have to be powerful, like over 3,000 gauss. We can start wearing orgonites, certain orgon pieces, as well as also iodes and diodes, in which that helps to remove negative energies away from a person. So those are just some of the things that we can do currently. Also, we need to build up our auric field, which is very important. We spoke about before 3 different breath techniques in which that is real good, which is part of pranic healing. You have the 6-3-6-3, you have the 7-1-7-1, and you have the empty retention. Either one of those 3 done 100 times extends your auric field 15 feet outside of you as compared to the average person whose auric field is only 3 feet. So it actually makes you 5 times more magnificent or magnified than other people around you. What that does is you can also begin to use that auric field to repel. Just like a magnet, you can turn it on one side, it draws, on the other side, it repels. So you can also do the same thing with your auric field and begin to start repelling negative energy away from you, even if it's something of that sort. Herbally, you probably want to take in some certain herbs, such as cleansing herbs, such as yellow dock, red clover, burdock, echinacea, golden seal, padiaco, cloves, wormwood, black walnut. These type of herbs help cleanse out the body. Also tuja leaf. Being that he works with vaccinations, it will have to come by way of a vaccination. If they have these mosquitoes, GMO mosquitoes or nanobot mosquitoes or whatever whatever it is, they can use tuja leaf, which is called the tree of life, in which that helps remove negative effects of vaccines from out the bloodstream. So these are just some of the recommendations that we can do.
Thank you. I definitely appreciate you. And I don't know how often, if you do a little news report or whatever, because it's been a minute since I've been able to catch you, your blog talk show. But, definitely important to keep the family.
I normally give Brother L 2 times out the month, and I take 2 times out the month. So we flip it back and forth like that.
Okay, and how many times a week are you on now? A month, I say you only once a week, right?
Twice out the month, so yeah, I'll be on again next week. Yep.
Okay, awesome. And next week will be the first of the month, so you're on the first week and the last week of the month now?
Normally, that's about how I do it.
Okay, I know you're busy, man.
Right.
What was you gonna say, brother?
Yeah, like you said, I do like 2 times out of a month. Well, sometimes Dr. Alim may be out of town or on the road doing lectures and doing speeches and stuff. So I'll take time out to do the show and try to make it as interesting as possible as I can.
Oh yeah. Well, you definitely flow in the ethers just like Doctor does. So all you gotta do is speak what comes to you, and it will be pertinent and important. So I'm sure it ain't challenging. You know what I'm saying? Because just like what Alim is speaking about, if we inhale and exhale, we're gonna get those messages and things that we need to share. And wisdom is nothing if it's not shared. So
Right.
I esteem and appreciate you both, and we are one. at the door.
Appreciate you, God.
No doubt. Appreciate you. Thank you, God.
Blessings.
Blessings. All right, fam. We're about out of here. Brother L, you got any closing statements before we go?
Like I say, just send some of that healing power energy that you have toward my way. I can use some of that. And like I say, looking forward to next Wednesday.
All right, sound good to me. All right, we got a special guest. We're gonna bring Brother Raku on, the cosmologist. Y'all gonna be in for a treat. The brother goes deep into the astrology, cosmos, and even gonna go into some information dealing with nationality and sovereignty. So y'all definitely want to be on this one. We're gonna take you for a little ride and show you how all of this connects to the cosmos. So that's going to be for next week. So come on back in next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we out.
Peace.
Peace.
Yeah. ATD. Above the dome. Trap of freedom. It's family. Tradition. Heritage. The missing links. Spiritual miracles. The awakenings. The walking sphinx. Time to eat, food for thought, it's the meta magician. Holy rainwater flows off my altar, channel through the seasons, elevate the reasons. What's the purpose of life to the living, death to the conscious? At the end of days, clash of the titans, zombies running rampant, Christ in the pamper, looking for a lamp, revving at the church, plugging in the amp, rock of the ages. Son of the undead, vamping immortal rage. I bleed red ink on the page. Words and truth, no signature. To the blur from invisible literature. Sitting at the dock of the bay with Otis. Having rituals, turn the lights off. It can get real quick, sir. Milk and pot mix. I'm in search for a fix. Walking backwards, looking forwards. Patiently waiting. Don't ignore it. Holding two swords like peace signs aimed at your board.
Want to be caught in the trap of freedom.
To light, walk into flight, hawk eyesight, interdimensional terabytes, fuel for the journey, some late a fuel for the gurney, colored in the book of law, no need for attorneys, I turn the page, feel the script like a doctor coming out the cage, I'm the lion, fed grain, sticks and stones, no pain, or workers only workers gain, attempting to keep my inner sane, with lifestyle changes, highs and mountain plains, 7 thoughts, 7 vaults, no faults, who's to blame? It ain't the same, they taking names, I feel the sun, it ain't no fun if the homie can't have none, I see you run like who's saying like none, it seems frightening, exciting, I go with streaming lightning, I'm the Nickelodeon at night.
Want to be caught in the trap of freedom. Do you want to be lost in the trap of freedom? Do you want to be caught in the trap of freedom? Do you want to be lost in the trap of freedom?
Yeah, time, space is obsolete. Locate the unlocal, way above yet so below. The permanency of non-movement, ATV, above the dome, trap of freedom, Blackwater, the meta magician, mad science is on the track, peace.